Senator Hyde-Smith. Good morning.
Thank you, Madam Chairman and Ranking Member Bozeman, and I certainly appreciate you being here today, Mr. Secretary. I've enjoyed a good working relationship with you. And I think my question to you is timely as you talk about millions of dollars in investments in 17 cities for urban farmers and small farmers and the exposure to agriculture that a lot of children don't have. And Mississippi's home, we have 34,700 farms in Mississippi, and we're large in land, but we're small in population. We're less than 3 million people. So our number one industry in Mississippi is agriculture, and we have a lot of small farms, but we have a lot of larger family farms as well, and that are very, very critical. And this administration has repeatedly emphasized its desire to help small and organic farmers and hobby farmers, which you also indicated in your testimony. And this is a good thing. I am glad you're doing that. I have a deep respect for anyone who is raising crops because it's truly hard work. And I have respect for all farmers who do that on all sizes. But we simply cannot feed the masses without these large conventional farms. You know, it's so valuable for children who don't have that exposure. But when you walk down the cereal aisle of your grocery store, and I do all of my shopping for my family, and when you walk down the flour aisle and the rice aisle, you know, you realize our job is to feed this country and to feed this world, and what would happen if there was a shortage there. And, you know, if we did stop production, how that would truly impact this country much more than a lot of other pandemics. But according to USDA's Economic Research Service, 3% of U.S. farms, the large family farms, are responsible for 47% of production to feed this country. Larger operations, they allow farmers to capitalize on the benefits of economies of size and the efficiencies as they work to feed and clothe this world. And they are the primary reason America is home to the most efficient and sustainable agricultural production system this world has ever known. The farm safety net exists to ensure that we have that safe, affordable, and nutritious farm supply that is produced in the U.S., and our success ensures we don't become a country dependent on imports for everything, especially our food supply. The farm safety net consists of programs that provide economic viability not only to the producers, but also the rural communities they live in and support. So I truly do support the smaller hobby urban things, but we can't lose focus on we're here to feed this country and the tremendous challenge that is. And as we look to the next farm bill, what assurances can you give us that USDA will act according to the intent of Congress when administrating farm safety net programs? And I know this is a tremendously delicate balance that you have there, but my concern is truly feeding the masses. So the farms, what's the intent of Congress, and when administrating the farm safety net programs, what is your goals and objectives there?
Our goal, simply stated, is to keep people on the farm. If they're suffering a circumstance or a disaster that results in their inability to continue farming, that's why you've got a safety net, is to basically allow them and ensure that they can stay on the farm. I want to be very clear about this, Senator. When we talk about the 90% of the farms that didn't make money or didn't make enough to the majority of their money came from off-farm income, we're talking about farms that sold less than $1 million. The farms you're talking about, the large commercial-sized farms, sold more than $1 million. I don't think it's an either-or circumstance, and I don't think anybody should phrase it or discuss it in the context of either-or. I think we need both. We clearly need production. There's no question about that. And we're going to continue to have incredibly large, efficient, effective operations. But if you're also genuinely concerned, as I am, about the erosion of rural America, you're going to want to keep people on the farm.
No doubt.
Okay? And if it's 100 acres or 1,000 acres, I want to keep people on the farm. So when you ask, what is our intent? What is the philosophy? The philosophy is very simple. Those safety nets are designed to keep people on the farm and to keep them farming so they can do what every farmer that I know wants to do, which is to pass it on to the next generation.
That's it. What assurances can you provide that USDA will approach farm safety net programs for large farms with the same enthusiasm as the smaller ones? And I think you've answered that as well.
We're going to keep people on the farm. This is not about the challenge has been that we spend a lot of time and focus on those large scale producers because of the nature of productivity. We established back in the 1970s. We sent the message to farms: be productive. We changed the circumstances. Earl Butz said, fence row to fence row. And boy, did American farmers do that. They became extraordinarily productive. The problem is that as you become more productive, the cost of that productivity is pretty significant. Those machines that allow you to farm thousands of acres are very large and very expensive. So the problem is that farms continue to get larger and larger and larger, okay, which squeezes out the small and mid-sized farming operation, which is what populates the rural communities, which supports the school, the hospital, the Main Street businesses. So the challenge for us is, how do you do both? How do you create a circumstance in a farm bill that basically says, yeah, for all, we got to help those big guys. No problem with that. But don't forget about the rest of them, the 90% that are struggling every single year. Even in a record year, they're struggling. So that's my goal, is to try to figure out, how do we do both? Not just one or the other, but both.
Well, I'm glad that is your goal. I am. And now I've got, I think I'm running out of time. I have some questions about rice. Maybe I can hang around to ask you that. Thank you.